When I was 19, when I was finishing high school, I decided that I wanted to have also formal education. So I applied to study at SOAS, which is the School of Oriental and African Studies in London. The evolution of the gallery was really quite organic, in the sense my mother was already active in the field since the early 70s when we lived in Italy. When I finished my study we started thinking about opening a gallery and a space together, which we did in the late 1987, early 1988. I was lucky because it's a family business, so I wasn't opening a gallery from scratch. There was a lot of goodwill and a lot of relationship that already existed with suppliers, with clients, with museum curators. But I do remember I was 11 years old, my first trip. We traveled all over Afghanistan, and then we went over the Khyber Pass, which is a very famous border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. And then we went into Swat Valley, which basically first everybody carries a gun. It's kind of, you carry your wallet, people carry their gun, or nowadays you carry your mobile phone, people carry their gun. It's kind of normal. On the way back, I remember there was a roadblock made by wooden put on the middle of the road. So we stopped, and the people, the locals, were a little concerned, and this was a trap. But there was a moment of tension. Maybe that we're going to stop and we're going to get robbed or whatever. But Afghanistan is a fantastic memory for me. I mean, it was like the landscape, the people. It was just a continuous discovery, and I loved it. And later on, I would say Tibet gave me the same sort of emotion and feeling. I mean, the vastness of the place, the colors of the desertic area of Tibet. I'm very eclectic in my interest in art. Even as a gallery, we work with classical, we work with contemporary now, we work with Western, particularly Italian artists. So it's a question about what moves you. There is vision, initial impact, and then that's important, I think. And then there is the processing and then the understanding what the content as well, and that content is the story that the artist and the work is telling you. And for me, content are very important. The story is very important. So that's why I'm quite eclectic, because there are so many stories in the world that we can look at and learn. I think there is one object here which is next to you, the lotus mandala I was showing before. This is important because it's such an extraordinary object, and we found it in a Spanish collection in the late 90s, and we sold it to a collector in Europe at the time, early 2000. And about 20 years later, the collector decided to sell it, it comes back, and it is with us. And so this kind of cycle of stories for me are always interesting, when you have something so special that you handle once and you were very excited the first time, and suddenly you're back and you can do it. You can have another opportunity to live with it for a little while until it finds its next home. Without being arrogant, we are quite well known for doing exhibition and catalog which are quite scholarly, and that was our way to contribute to a field that was still kind of let's call it immature or in its infancy. At the beginning, because of the way where I traveled first, my interest was more Indian art. But of course, if you look at Himalayan art, is an extension a little bit of Indian art. I mean, there is a lot stylistically, in terms of content, because Buddhism goes from India all the way to China via Tibet, etc., and Nepal. So, and I think what at the end led me more into specializing in Himalayan art was a combination of the many travels I did in Tibet in the 90s, and opportunities as well, and the opportunity of discovery as well.